that. All right. I think we're live. We are just going to double
Okay.
check because there's always a delay when you
Oh,
go through Zoom into Facebook. There's always a delay. So
okay.
it looks like we're live. I just want to make sure. Dun, dun, dun. Yes, we are live. Awesome.
Okay.
So we just so this is where we patiently wait for everybody to show up because there's like usually like a 3 minute delay or so for people getting their notifications and
After
so
they
forth.
get their
Yeah,
notifications.
yeah. So so why don't you tell us, Christina, while we're waiting for everyone to hop on, and
Mhm.
as you're hopping on, I would love to know, where are you streaming in from this morning? Because I'd love to know where, our reach is. So where are you streaming in from this morning? And what is your beverage of choice this morning? I certainly have my coffee, and I choose my mugs purposefully every morning. So this morning I chose Wake Up and Be Awesome. So it's as big as my head. This is how big
Mine
coffee.
is too. It's- Ah,
Yes. So, and then with your beverage of choice, so I drink mine straight up black. It was the way my great great grandmother, my grandmother, and my great aunt, they all drank their coffee black. So I think I absorbed that, and nobody. I think it's probably going to stop the lineage with me. I think I'm going to be the last one. So
Emma's like, nope, not for me.
yeah, and it's funny because I love honey in my tea, but no sweetener in my coffee. I think it's terrible. But so what is your coffee of choice this morning, Miss Christina?
So it's coffee, but the reason the mug is so big is probably about half of it is oat milk.
Oat milk. There you go.
And I used to drink that like coffee mate sweetened,
Oh,
and it's the
yes.
ingredients, it's so much junk. And so I'm like, I'm gonna get off of that. And so it's oat milk with a little bit of maple syrup. But you have to put a lot of oat milk to make it really creamy.
You
So
you do, you do.
I
So
had
that's
to
how
I had to go to a bigger mug.
I that's how my tea is. My tea is like tea, and then there's like this much oat milk on the top because it takes a bit of the oat milk to
Yes.
make that creaminess. So,
Mhm.
all right, so I think we are officially live, and let's see if anybody has checked in with us this morning. Let's go, let's go. All right, we have Carol is here this morning. Good morning, Carol. And Kate, happy Tuesday. Marcia's here. Stacy is here from New Hampshire, also drinking coffee black. Nice. And then I do have to turn my sound off. It's easier to watch here. Drink of choice this morning. Carol is having ginger and turmeric tea. And Kate, I found out yesterday, Kate, who works with us and who is our extraordinaire behind the scenes person that makes everything run for us. She drinks her coffee black too. So I'm in good company. And Kendra is here also, and Marcia is drinking some hot water. She already coffeeed up once this morning. All right, so awesome. So I'm so glad that you're all here with us this morning. And as you keep streaming in, let us know where you're streaming in from. And so, so do you like Christina, Chris? What do you prefer?
Usually Christina.
Christina. Okay, that's what I
Yeah.
thought. But
I did Chris because we were playing that game. And it's funny because when I do to-go orders, I'll just say Chris because it's faster for them to write it down. When I'm like ordering food to go, I'm like, just come on. So I'll say Chris just because it's fast.
just faster. Okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
like I don't really care. Kellyanne, I don't actually really
Yeah.
care. So it doesn't really matter. So Amy's coming in from Boston, checking in, and she is a cinnamon spice tea here. Good morning,
Mm.
everyone. So, all right. So, Christina, tell us about your business and tell us like where you were a year ago, because if I remember correctly, you had a business and then you kind of like
Mhm.
took the pedal off for a little bit. And I
Yes.
know that you were raising two children, not tiny little tots, but
Mhm.
they still need mom's
Yes. And
supervision.
they are still virtual. So
Oh
they
my
hear
goodness.
something. I'm like, I need 30 minutes quiet.
Yeah, it's all
Um,
good.
But yeah, so they're still virtual. They're here. Not tiny, but old enough to still need help.
Mhm.
So actually, I just made 3 years in my business. So thank
Congratulations.
you.
Woohoo!
So that's exciting. So I started and kind of, first year didn't know anything about business, and I would always get the question like, why did you, how did you pick that to go into, and I'm like, I didn't want to start a business. I don't really want to own a business, but this is the only way I can do what I'm passionate about. But by the end of the second year, um, it's no surprise that networking works,
Mhm.
because all of my business pretty much came from word of mouth.
That's
And
amazing.
so by the end of 2019, I had an amazing quarter, and I was like, okay, I'm finally getting kind of to where I need to be, not completely there yet financially, but it was going well.
Uh-huh.
And then COVID, I lost half of my regular clients, and that really set me back.
Got it.
So still kind of slowly growing, but it's hard because, like I said, the kids are still virtual, and so I'm doing a lot of things on the back end that I should have done. But had I known to do them, could have done right the
The
first
first
time in
time
the
around.
beginning.
Yeah. Yeah. So we talk about that a lot, right? We talk about
Yes,
you don't actually know what you don't know. And you
correct.
think like you see the front of a business
Mhm.
and you think it looks like this, but you have no idea what's actually happening in the back of the
No,
business. And by the
no.
back, I mean like behind the scenes, like how much marketing someone's doing, what their pricing structure really looks like, how they're hiring, how they're firing, how they're getting clients, right? We
Mhm,
just see like we see it's it's like just like on Facebook and all social media, you tend to see the highlight reel. You see what you
mhm.
think you see, and then we have our perceptions of what you think you see, but you really have no idea what's actually happening behind the scenes. So it's always fascinating. So tell everyone, what is your niche, because you have and where are you located? So tell everyone like
So I'm
where
in
your
Houston.
business is
I'm in Houston,
located.
Texas,
Hmm.
and I help moms, and I like to work with moms with younger children. I have a lot of experience, like nanny, property management, or household management, and I taught preschool for years, and I was a postpartum doula before starting the business.
It's amazing.
And so that's kind of how I got in. I kept having families like ask me, just stay a little longer. And so I ended up with the family for like 5 years. The kid was in preschool full time, but I was still managing the home. And
Wow.
so that's kind of how I got inspired to, there's got to be more people in this city that need, as needed, personal assistance, but not full time. Um, so yeah, in Houston, Texas, and I work with, primarily moms. And I would say the three biggest tasks that I advertise are professional organizing, meal prep and grocery shopping,
Hmm.
and then party planning, which is taking a dive.
Yeah,
But I did a
well, yeah.
lot of that before COVID.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, and party planning today looks kind of different, right? Like
Yes.
and even for me, I know so my one, two, three, the third child, and she's 17 tomorrow. And I'm like, we haven't planned a damn thing. It just
Oh,
feels so weird and different.
it
Like
is
we have
so
we have our
weird.
rituals, they get to choose breakfast and I will wake up in the morning and make them whatever they want for breakfast.
Oh,
And
that's sweet.
their dinner meal, and they wake up to a big bouquet of balloons at their breakfast chair. But yeah, things have definitely been a little bit different, so I can see how that's impacted it. So I have a question though, with the meal planning and meal prep. How has that been impacted as well by COVID? Because I know for me, when COVID happened last year and everything went into shutdown, our grocery shopping
Mhm.
went up like
Yes.
75% because most people did not feel comfortable, or we had a lot of situations where um moms with young kids, they didn't want to leave the house, moms who
Yes.
had just brought a baby home from the hospital, um multi-generational families who did
Mhm.
not want to go to the grocery store and leave the house because they had grandma and grandpa living with them, or aging adults that had that had comorbidities or are more at risk. So how did that impact
So I
you?
would say that part, the shopping has picked up probably. I mean, from the clients that I've already had that know me and trust me, they're like, I don't want to brave Costco. I can't tell. I mean, I go to Costco and the post office so much. So that is, that's kind of picked up. But the meal prep, the client that I did it the most for
Mhm.
was in oil and gas, and she got laid off. And so she traveled a lot for work. And so I would I would do her grocery shopping, go put a bunch of meals in the fridge prior to her coming home and get flowers and, have
Mhm.
everything ready upon her arrival. So that I haven't done. And a lot of people just don't want you in their homes right now
Yeah.
here. It's Houston's been a real hot spot. So that's been the challenge.
Mm.
And I'll even like double mask up. I'm like, I'm,
Right.
safe as we
Right.
can. But I'm doing a lot of the deliveries contactless, and I try to make that available. But certainly the meal prep is not like it was before.
Yeah. So take us back then a year ago. So a year ago, COVID kind of happened, and I know that at that time, I think were you feeling like a little bit burnt out about the
Yes.
business as
Oh my
well?
gosh. Yes.
Yeah. So tell us.
Exhausted.
Yeah. So tell us about that. What do you think was causing the burnout? Because we all
Um,
experience this, right? So this is for
Wasting
everybody.
time, not knowing what I should be doing when I was working on the business.
Okay.
And I'm like, if I could, on the days where I was going out doing things, I come home and I'm so happy and I'm like, I love the work and I do. And someone said to me the other day, like, well, is your goal to be in a place where you can just do the admin and have, a team do things? And I'm like, maybe like I would like to have a team of a couple of people so that I can, go on vacation when I want,
Right.
whatever. But I enjoy the work.
Got
I'm, really efficient and I know how to prioritize and which is, probably similar to most people in this, in the group. But yeah, I was just exhausted because I would sit here and I think I've heard you say that, like your husband would be like, well, what did you do today? And I'm like, I feel like I was busy, but it wasn't billable things, but yet it wasn't moving the needle forward.
Yeah.
It wasn't doing anything to bring more clients, but I'm like, it's just busy work. It's like when you give kids those worksheets that they're not learning anything and yet they feel like they're busy. So it was just time wasting and I didn't know what to do, beyond what I was doing. I knew people were happy. I would get feedback from them, not in the ways that now I've learned to get testimonials and things like that, but I would say, okay, these people are willing to, they're happy to pay me. I remember the first time I increased my rate and I was like, oh my gosh, people are really going to pay this price. Like I was shocked and it was so exciting. And I'm like, I'm valuable. But I still, when I wasn't actually doing the tasks, didn't know what else I should be doing. And
Right.
that was just kind of that part I would feel like I'm kind of getting burnt out from because it gets so discouraging.
Yeah, because you're doing a lot of things and you're like, result, right? When
Yes.
you go into the same thing, like, so that's how it was for me in the beginning. I would go into a client's home and I could, organize a closet or a pantry or do grocery shopping. I come back and you
Mhm.
you see the effect of it, right? Like you
Yes.
see what the bed looks like when it's made. But when you're doing your marketing and you're trying to build the business, a lot of times you're just spinning your wheels and spinning. You're like, where's it? Where's the return? Where's it return?
Mhm.
Where how 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 am I showing up and it's working? What am I doing that's not working? And there's so much confusion in it that I think it really impacts um, our overall confidence in ourselves and whether or not you will be able to keep the business running, right? Because you do have to be doing things to bring
Mhm.
in clients. It's great the clients that you have. You just take really good care of them and most of the time they will stay with you for on average 2 to 3 years and for
Mhm.
many longer than that. But things happen, right? People get laid off. If you work with seniors, people die. People move, right? So many times people in my programs, this has recently happened to somebody in our program where like their biggest client decided they were no longer going to use their services. And you can't necessarily plan for these things. So the best way to be planning for these things is to be always filling your pipeline of potential new clients. Very first client come from? I love asking that question for people who are in the startup kind of phase. Like, where did you get your first client from?
So this goes against all that we are, are learning to do. But they Googled me, believe it or not. And I don't know why they picked my website over others or how I even came up in this, but it's an attorney, and he said he was speaking with another attorney, and he was like, there's got to be personal assistants, but like people who do it at home, not in the office, not for work.
Exactly. Yep.
And they were like, wouldn't that be great if there was such a thing? And he was like, and he's one of those like kind of geek computer, like he researches really well and that kind of thing. So they just Googled me, and they just needed tons of help in their home. Mostly it was like, when I'm off, I don't want to deal with repairs and all that. So
yeah,
it was a great fit. I started out very low in my rates, and I still have that same client going on 2 years, I think. So
that's awesome.
2.5 years.
Yeah. I'd love to use that as well.
Oh, your sound is going in and out, Kelly.
Sorry about that. My headset has been a little.
Oh. Yes. Oh. Lost you again.
Are we better now?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, thank you. That's what happens in live television. I am going to have to get a new mic before Spark Live because
good idea.
Some wonky stuff going in and out. Are we still good?
Yes.
Okay, awesome.
I can hear you fine.
So when that person found you on Google, were you doing other things to try to promote your business at that time?
I was doing a lot of the wrong things.
Okay, but you were still doing things.
Oh, yes,
right?
yes. And I was doing some networking, but I wasn't out like searching for networking. It was just be like, oh, someone invited me to this thing. Or I had this friend that was like, you need to go to happy hour at all the really fancy restaurants. And I'm like, and so I let her talk me into that. And so we did that a couple of times. And I'm like, you can't just randomly go up to someone and be like, it's just so salesy, and who would hire me that way?
Right.
And Yelp advertise. I mean, just a lot of the wrong things, but yes.
Of the wrong things. But you were still taking action. Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
So that's what, so I know you're in my program, and I know the people in my program have heard me say this a bajillion times, but this is what I refer to as it's boomerang marketing. It's the boomerang effect. So a lot of times we are doing things. So like you said, you're over there and you feel like you're spinning your wheels and you're not getting any traction, which is partly true, right? Because there are the right things to do. And then there's a lot of time wasting things to do, right? Mm-hmm. But what I will tell you is the universe does reward action. So even when we are randomly scrapping and doing things, the thing is to just keep moving forward. And it's like what I call the boomerang, right? It's like you keep doing the things and the energy of action goes out, and then the universe rewards you with a client, which, like you said, he Googled me and actually found me, which is kind of rare. It depends on how your website is built, and it depends on the traffic that you get and so forth. My very first paying client for concierge work, they found me on my Chamber of Commerce's website. Like, seriously, who goes to the Chamber of Commerce to look for something? That is how they found me. But I had been doing so many other things over here. I was doing the networking, I was doing the follow-ups, I was doing a lot of stuff that was not working as well,
Mhm.
right? But it's the energy of action also. Like you have to just keep moving forward. And when we don't get the results, it's usually because we are just not taking enough action.
Mhm.
And then there is a difference between taking action that burns you out because there is no return versus taking action that is more in alignment with actually growing your business. Because there's a lot of information out there that will keep you spinning your wheels for a long
Mhm.
time.
That makes a
So,
lot of sense. And a
right?
lot of information from business-minded people that don't know the service side,
Industry,
this
yes.
type of business is completely different than most others.
It's so much, it's so different, and local business as well. So that's why, like, when I talk about who I help local businesses. I help, like, not brick and mortar per se, but
Mhm.
geographically kind of, as my friend Lori, she last week she said, "Oh my God, I have a term for it." I was like, "What is it?" She's like, "It's like the zip and click." I'm like, "Tell me more." And she was like, "Zip code and online." Like you have to bring both pieces of that together as you're marketing, because you are like, you can't just market and follow the strategies that are out there for online businesses, right? Marketing an offline business needs to be done in a very specific way. And there's a lot of information. There's a lot of really good meaning gurus out there too. But I think we get caught up in seeing their success and we're like, yes, I
Mhm.
want that too. But they're actually teaching you things that are effective for online businesses, for online coaching businesses, for online businesses that are selling products and programs, not necessarily a offline business that is providing services typically one to one to people,
Mhm.
right? Or even one to one. There is a one to many model in a service business, but it's not the same as an online business. So I think that distracts a lot of people as well.
Yes.
So, so enough of me chatting here. So what is one thing that you would say is working now? We know that COVID is still impacting you a little bit,
Mhm.
and at the same time, it's giving you time to now work on the back end of the business so you can see how that works better. And what would you say is one thing that is working now that for your business?
I would say just making some of my paperwork that um, kind of keeps record, and the team huddle basically is
Yeah,
the Monday morning, because it um, like I can keep track of the goals and who do I need to call, and if I'm not at my goal, okay, pick up the start,
pick up the
putting it
phone.
out there. I'm have availability this day, and so just that, and then the abundance board too. I just love um, kind of celebrating those little things along the way and just being grateful. And now I can do that that sheet so fast. Now like when you get into, so
Yes.
basically it's just setting that routine. And in the beginning you start those things and it feels so daunting. Well, like I have to do this and I have to do this, and
Mhm.
I'm sure I'll be going back in my modules for years to come and going back through things, and that's fine. But that has gotten so easy to just, take some time in the morning, Monday morning, and, here's where I need to go. And so that's really working for me really well.
Awesome. So, what Christina is speaking about is in our one program, I teach the Monday morning huddle. And that is basically where it started out, honestly, it kind of started out when I had hired a team and I needed to like stay in touch with the team and figure out what's going on. And then I realized that I should be having this meeting with myself. So, even if you are a solo business owner, you should have a time set aside, typically Monday mornings, but it depends on your lifestyle and the business that you're running, right? And your kids and family obligations. But picking one day a week, we do Monday mornings every day and carve out. And like Christina said, in the beginning, it feels like, oh my God, I got to do this damn thing. And you like carve out like 18 hours in one day to do this one thing. And then over time, it just gets so fast that it's like, boom, you can be done in like 30 minutes.
Yeah.
And what it is it's basically teaching you to have a meeting with yourself, right? Or your business partners. So I know some of our students in our programs, their husbands are their business partners. Their kids have become their business partners. So they do it with their kids because then they're teaching their kids, like, look, consistency, mom's doing the work too. Look at the results over a long term. And so it's just about having an appointment with yourself on your calendar every week and ask yourself, like, what do I have to do this week? Where am I on track with my goals? Where am I maybe slipping off? Because look, life is life, right? It's not always like this, right? Entrepreneurship is literally like this.
Mhm.
And so, right? I mean, it really is.
Yes.
And so having that meeting with yourself and then knowing like your leads and who do you have to follow up with and who can you pick up the phone and call and what do you have available, and it's just like doing that one thing can completely transform your
Mhm.
business in with your consistency.
Yes.
So thank you for
And then if
sharing
there's ever
that.
that time where I'm like, I don't know what I can be doing right now, I just look at that and like, okay, this is one big goal, and what little task can I do today
Yes.
to move towards that? Whether it's, your website or your business card, I mean, just whatever it is that you want to get done.
Yes.
Um, I'm actually about to it's on my list this week to move that, some of those things that I routinely use
Hmm.
into a smaller binder because my Concierge Academy binder is so big. So that I can just because now I find myself like quick, looking at it more
Yes.
often. So
Yes.
I just that's been really helpful to have, you that instead of sitting down going, oh, what am I going to do today?
Yeah,
You
and you're
know,
like, "Oh, referrals? Let me go to the referrals part," right? Like,
yes.
"Oh, follow up? Let me go here. Oh,
Hmm.
what could I update on my website this month?" And go to all the things. Yeah.
Hmm.
So for everybody that's listening here as well, so obviously we've been talking about it for a couple weeks now. We have a event coming up March 15th through the 17th. It is called Spark Live, and it's all about sparking your inner CEO because we have learned why is it important to spark that inner CEO, Christina? You explain it.
It's really, for me, it's a huge mindset um, thing that I think in the beginning really struggled with. And I feel like the first I did, one inner CEO thing with you. I think it was a week long, or maybe it was just a couple days. And then at Spark Live, um, is where I really was like, this is, I've got to decide, and there's things that I can do. Um, but if you want to show up in your business the way a CEO would, you really have to look at it from that and take the personal feelings out. And
Yes.
if someone hired me to be a CEO, what would I be doing? And that's really
Yes.
important to do.
Yes.
It
It's
makes a big difference the way you
big,
view things that need to be done.
big, big difference, right? Because I know, for example, in Pennsylvania, I can ask you all to hold on for 10 minutes and I'll be right back and I will go start another business. And I will have my LLC. And by Friday, I will have my EIN number from the government. That is how fast it is to start businesses today. So many people start businesses for different reasons. They're
Mhm.
escaping something. Many people start a business to escape something. Many people start a business because they just have a passion and a calling for like a group of people, or it's something you like to do and you're like, "Can I actually get paid to do this?" Yes, you can get paid to do shit you like to do, right? Um and some people, they get laid off or they've been at a career job for 25 years and, oh, you just happen to be crossed off the list that year, and having a job you don't always have control over. When you own your own business, we think when we start that we have all this control over it, but only if you are approaching your business like a business. It has to be fed and watered and taken care of.
Mhm.
It's a breathing entity, believe it or not. And so a lot of people, because it's so easy to start a business, right? And you see everybody in the world now is talking about starting their own business. It's super easy to do. And then you read certain books or online articles, and it's like, hang some flyers, tell all your friends about it. But that only goes so far. And you have to begin to think and plan and act like a CEO. And it's so beautiful, you said, Christina, about taking the emotion out, right?
Mhm.
Like that is the biggest thing when it comes to setting your rates and setting your pricing, right? You have to take the emotion out and
'Cause you can
charge
easily let that fear stop you from
so
doing
much.
what needs to be yes.
Yes. I talk all the time. Like when I first was, starting, and even now I sometimes have to do it. Like I'm a nurse by trade. I am a nurse
Mhm.
by heart. It like I can't I don't know how to turn that part of me off, but sometimes when I have to make decisions, I'm like, no, 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 Nurse Kelly, you cannot make this decision because we'd be broke
Yeah.
and we would be out of business. Like you have to make decisions for the success of the company.
Mhm.
And so thinking and planning and acting like a CEO is
Mhm.
so super relevant. So you're coming back again this year. So why are you coming
Yes.
back again this year?
Um, Honestly, the enthusiasm and just the energy and the spirit that is there is so refreshing. And sometimes you just need kind of that
Yeah, a little shot of
boost
it.
of, yeah.
Yes.
And I love seeing what other people are doing and kind of helping, just it's like a little family. And honestly, it's the closest thing to get to, like, if you've ever been to like a huge conference and
Mhm.
you're up in the hotel and you're
Yeah.
tired because it's second day and you've had long day, and that energy that you
Yeah,
feel being with people and learning new things, it's so exciting.
it
And
is.
I felt that at Spark Live for sure this past time.
Yeah.
um, and it's just encouraging. I mean, aside from, I mean, obviously you learn all these little things that you can actually take, actionable things.
Yeah.
What are my next steps? But also, it's just for me, it was an energy thing, and I got to do a lot of reflection on, why am
Mhm.
I thinking this way, and what's stopping me from moving forward.
Mhm.
So there was a lot of that as well.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, and I will tell you, I definitely miss the days of going to the
I know.
conferences and yeah, and you're up all night, and if you have a roommate, you're
Yes.
like chatting till 2 a.m. and you're like 7 o'clock rolling down to the big room, in the long line, waiting for your coffee. And I wish I could do that again, but we're not quite there yet.
But
Um,
it felt a little bit like that, and that was so fun. I didn't expect that,
yeah,
because I was
yeah,
like, "Oh,
because
we're all Zoomed out nowadays," and, but then we had the happy hour, the cocktail hour when the lights went out, and I was like, "This is so fun." I miss
so
being
real.
with people. Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny because Lori talked about that yesterday. She's like, and then the power went out. I'm like, I know. I'm like, shit, kids, get the flashlights. But yeah, and that was part of so like for example, I am part of a mastermind group as well that's about doing what? Hosting live events virtually because I
Yes.
was like, I can't sit in front of a Zoom screen for 3 damn days just like this and just like throw content at people.
Mhm.
I would lose my mind and I know my people would lose their minds. So it's like the things that I learned from them and I'm still learning from them to even try to make this event in March even better than the one we did in the fall. For that, right? Like so you're coming together for community,
Mhm.
for connection, brainstorming, masterminding with people, networking with people, new and old and new to the industry who've been around the industry for years. And just and then walking away, like you said, with the actionable steps, with the
Mhm.
roadmap. Like you leave and you've got it like all written
Yeah.
down, like exactly what you
Because
need
you do a
to
lot of work during
exactly.
the actual Spark Live event. There's
Yes.
times and I don't know how it'll be structured this year, but
Of course.
breakout
Yeah,
groups
totally.
and time frame where you actually, it's like, do it now. This is what we're doing. So
Yes,
you have no
absolutely.
choice.
You
You
have no
have to get that.
choice. You're with me for 3 days. I'm gonna make you work on
Yes,
your business because
that's
that's
great.
the one thing that I love, going to events, but sometimes going to events and you come home with this binder full of information, and then you never really do anything with it,
Yeah.
right? So that's why I wanted to incorporate actionable time, like, let's do
Hmm.
it now together so that you have it. So then you can't do it all while you're there, but you at least get it started. So then you know
Yes.
exactly what you're going to do when you quote unquote go home.
Mhm.
So, so does anybody have any questions for Christina? We went a little bit over. Let's see. And then Kate, if Kate is with us here, she can put the link. We have a special link for all of you to get your ticket right now. It's still only $97 for all 3 days of the event. Let's see. Let's see if we are here. Let me go back. My thingy keeps popping up. All right, let's see. So if anybody has questions for Christina, we can ask her. My stupid pop-up thingies. All right. Sue had said, thinking about would I hire myself as a CEO? Great stuff. Yeah, absolutely. Like you have to ask yourself, like, would I hire my marketer of this company? Because is my marketer doing what they got to do, showing up every day, doing the do? Super important. So let's see. I'm just refreshing here. So if you have questions, go ahead and post them for us, and I can ask Christina. It just takes a minute for it to refresh. Kate said she loved hearing your story. All right. And then we have the link there for anyone who does not have their tickets yet. Go ahead and grab your tickets. We would love to see you. This is our ticket board. This is our attendee board. It doesn't, the Zoom little fuzzy thing doesn't work out really good, but so this is the name. We have to keep gluing people's names down. Our stickers aren't working really well, but it was super fun. Emma likes to add everybody's name on here every day. So here's Christina's name right there. So every day that we have new people register, Emma makes a little spot for your name. So let's just check and see one more time if we have any questions. All right. Again, we are on such a delay. Feels like so weird. There's like comments, but let's see. The most recent. All right. So Sue just said, thank you so much, Christina. She loved your story. Amanda is saying good morning. Naima, apparently it's her son's birthday tomorrow, too. This is crazy
Aw.
pants. Naima is my sister from another mother. All right. So I don't think I see any new fresh questions coming in.
Okay.
So, but if anybody has questions, go ahead and post them below and we can see about coming back and answering them for you. And so I wanted to thank Christina for coming today. And
Thanks
so
for
her
having
big
me.
takeaways are carve out that time in the beginning of the week so you can plan, you focusing, you know what you have to do, who you have to follow up with, and just keep taking those steps. So, and thinking like a CEO. All right. So thank you all so much for being here with us today. Be sure to come back tomorrow morning. Again, tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. We have my sister from another mother, Miss Naima Blasco. She will be with us tomorrow. And I believe we have Maria on Thursday. And we had to have a little shift change happen this morning. And I believe we have Stacy joining us on Friday. So super fun. And until next time, my friends, thank you so much. Mwah. Bye.
Bye.
Da-da-da, da-da-da-da-da. Nope. Do, do, do. Oh, nope. What am I doing? I'm doing the wrong thing here. Here we go.